Folks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had probably their biggest pre-draft prospect visit so far up to this point, as former Kentucky quarterback Will Levis visited with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this is a very big one, folks. Will Levis is one of the top 4 quarterback prospects in this upcoming NFL draft, along with Bryce Young out of Alabama, CJ Stroud out of Ohio State, and Anthony Richardson out of Florida. All 4 guys have a big amount of potential, and there's a lot of reason to see why. With Will Levis specifically, you look at the height, you look at the weight, 6'4", 229 pounds, the overall athleticism. The guy has got a lot of tools that you want to see in a potential franchise quarterback. And now, he didn't do much at the NFL Combine. He had a 34-inch vertical jump and a 10'4" broad jump. And he was compared to Jay Cutler by Lance Zierlein of the NFL Network, which I know some people may say, oh no, that's not a good comparison. But I think people really sleep on Jay Cutler personally. And I'm not saying this out of some random, whatever you may think, biased out of Will Levis. I just liked Jay Cutler whenever he was in the NFL. So I don't think that that is a bad comparison to make. Jay Cutler was a former first-round pick in his own right as well. So I think there's definitely a lot of potential there with Levis. I saw him at the NFL Combine. He looked absolutely jacked. I think that if you looked up Suns Out, Guns Out in the dictionary, you would see a photo of Will Levis, point blank, simple as that. The dude is absolutely jacked, baby, and he's got a cannon of an arm. He said so as much while he was at the NFL Combine. Now, the accuracy may not always be there, and that is certainly something that is notable for Will Levis's game, but the arm strength is there, and you see that raw potential that Levis can have as a potential franchise quarterback. And I know that Levis has been a very divisive guy. There have been a lot of people who have loved Will Levis. There's been a lot of people who have hated Will Levis and what he could potentially be in the NFL. And I'm not going to side one way or the other. I don't like to do that, and I'm not going to do that here. But I will say there is potential there with Levis. Certainly, I think that that is undeniable given all of the traits and the athleticism and the size that he has. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in a pretty interesting situation regarding this upcoming draft in the quarterback position. Jason Light said today, as of April 13th, this may go up later than April 13th, possibly April 14th, but point being, Jason Light said recently to the media today that they would not be afraid to take a quarterback in this upcoming draft, and the Bucs have had a grand total of 2 quarterbacks visit them in the pre-draft process so far. That is Will Levis here out of Kentucky and Clayton Tune out of Houston. 2 guys on very different sides regarding the draft. Whereas Clayton Tune is a later round quarterback, Will Levis is one of the top quarterbacks. And whenever you look at mock drafts, I think that Levis has been a little all over the place. There have been some situations where he's fallen out of the first round entirely, although I don't believe that is a super popular take to make at this point. There have been some mock drafts that have him falling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick 19, or the Bucs even possibly trading up to select Will Levis in the early teens of the NFL draft. And then you also have Will Levis going as high as number 3, number 4, things along those lines. So Levis has been pretty much everywhere in the first round, although I will say, let's say 70% of mock drafts have him going in the top 5 to top 10 range in terms of his draft placement, which leads me to say this. I don't necessarily know if Will Levis is even going to be available for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they make a selection at pick 19, and I certainly don't know if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would trade up to select Will Levis in this upcoming draft. Because that would just raise a lot of questions of, okay, why did you sign Baker Mayfield? Why is there so much praise and support around Kyle Trask? Why did you even take Kyle Trask in the first place in the second round if you were just going to eventually replace him? Those are a lot of questions that are there if you especially trade up to take a guy like Will Levis. But taking a quarterback in the first round would just seem like a really big luxury that just really wouldn't make a lot of sense when there are so many other pressing types of needs regarding the Buccaneers and other positions on their roster right now. So while I like Will Levis as a prospect, and of course, obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are interested given that he's visiting with them, and I believe this was a top 30 visit, you do have to question, one, whether or not Will Levis is even going to be there when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick, two, whether or not the Buccaneers would even want to trade up to select a player like Will Levis, and three, if the fit and the sense is even there to have Will Levis on the roster at this point. And I think those three crucial questions are murky at best regarding a yes on those types of situations, right? I think that makes sense. I think that is a reasonable thing to say. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. What do you think about Will Levis? Again, I like him as a prospect. I think he's got a lot of talent. I just don't necessarily think he's going to be there when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick because, in my opinion, I think the dude's probably going to go top 5. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, folks, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.